So I'm back again this year with another Christmas horror story. This time I'm going with Santa. I think this is my first time watching this one. It was released last year in 2021 and came from the team over at Black Fawn Productions. They've been responsible for quite a few found footage horror flicks, including the recent Evil in the Basement and also the 2019 film Scabby. And if you've watched that one, then you probably know how intense it can be. So I'm hoping that this one matches up. Let's get started. On Christmas Eve, we meet our victim. He's just your average teenage guy hanging out with his two best friends. But he has recently had some run-ins with his parents, and he feels that they are unexactly on his side. Later that day, he goes out and buys some beers and some snacks, and comes home to watch some movies and generally chill out. Meanwhile, his mom is out buying a Christmas tree, and she stops off at the local bar to have a drink with some friends. She's only there for about 5 minutes, when suddenly her phone starts ringing. On the other end of the line is her son, who sounds drunk and slurring his words. When she answers, she asks him what he wants, and he tells her that he wants to know where she is right now. He says that he needs some help, and she tries to calm him down. But he keeps asking where she is and why she isn't coming home, still thinking that she's only been gone for 5 minutes. She tells him that she'll be home soon, but he hangs up on her before she can finish her sentence. As soon as her friends leave, she grabs her keys and rushes out of the door. Back home, our victim is getting increasingly more angry and upset, and he grabs a beer from the fridge to calm himself down. His friend tries to tell him to relax because his mom will be home soon, but he doesn't want to listen. He throws the beer across the room and accidentally breaks a vase. His friend tells him that he should clean it up, but he tells him to shut up and to leave him alone. Now his other friend is starting to feel a bit uncomfortable, so he heads out to his car in the driveway. Before he can get in the driver's seat, though, he hears a loud bang and screams as something falls onto the roof of the car. His two friends look at each other, unsure of what they should do next. A while later, our victim's mother gets home and bangs on the front door. She calls out to her son, but there's no answer. She tries the door, and it's unlocked, so she lets herself in and begins calling out his name once again. She checks his room, but he isn't there. She checks the bathroom, but he still isn't there. She finds a window in his room that looks like it's been left open, and she walks out to check the backyard. Meanwhile, our victim is hiding underneath the stairs in the basement, and he watches his mother walk past the window without seeing her. It's not long before she comes back inside and goes into the kitchen. She picks up the phone and begins dialing her husband. She tells him that their son must have gone out with some friends, because he is not home yet, and she knows that he would never leave. The house on Christmas Eve, her husband tells her that he's on his way home and will sort everything out. She thanks him and hangs up the phone. She begins rummaging around the cupboards looking for a bottle of wine, when suddenly she hears a noise coming from above her. She grabs a large knife and creeps towards the basement door. As she makes her way down the stairs, we see that our victim has taken his own life. He's hung himself with a dog leash and a beam in the basement. His mother screams his name, and he slowly drops to the floor. His mother continues screaming as the lights flicker above her. In a panic, she runs to the door, but as she reaches out to grab the handle, she slips and cuts her hand. She screams in pain as blood begins pouring from the wound. Our victim slowly stands up and walks towards his mother with a crazed look on his face. She backs away from him in fear, and he advances towards her with a pair of scissors in his hands. She screams and drops the knife as he approaches her, and she pulls herself together. She grabs the scissors and attacks our victim with them. The two struggle for the weapon, but he gets away and stabs her multiple times in the chest. With her dying breath, she stabs him back, and he falls to the ground, clutching his chest. He looks down to see a pair of scissors sticking out of his chest, and he stares directly at the camera as he slowly loses consciousness. The film then jumps forward to the following morning. His father enters the home to find both of his children lying dead on the floor. As he walks further into the house, we see that it's covered in blood and Christmas decorations are strewn across the floor. He walks past a bloodied meat cleaver and walks into his son's bedroom. There's a bloodied meat cleaver sitting on top of his bed. He looks under the bed, but it's empty. Then he notices that the window is open and sees the bloodied dog lead laying on the floor. He picks it up and examines it before turning back to the bed. That's when he notices a note that reads, "Sorry, I just couldn't take it anymore." He screams in agony as he realizes that his son took his own life. He drops the lead and falls to his knees. Just then, a voice can be heard saying, "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas," which terrifies the man. He screams as the lights begin to flicker above him and the camera pans away. Now, I didn't mention this at the start, but this movie does play out like a found footage horror movie. The entire thing is made up of security camera footage from around the home, and it does add a nice layer to the overall story. So that was Santa, for me. The most terrifying part of this film is the build-up to the point where our victim takes his own life. All the previous jump scares are pretty predictable, but this is the moment where the tone of the film changes completely. It's shot very well, and the score builds up nicely until the final shot where he reveals himself hanging in the basement. I don't want to give too much away, but the ending also surprised me. You're led to believe that our victim is behind all of the events that transpired in the film, but that's not the case. There is a supernatural element to this film that I didn't expect, and it adds a new level of creepiness to the overall story. This film does a great job of taking a typically happy holiday and turning it into a night of terror. You have a creepy Santa figure, eerie music, and lots of dark shadows and dim lighting to set the mood. All of these things combine to make for a very stressful and spooky Christmas Eve. If you've seen this one before, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. But that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you haven't already, then why not subscribe? I'm trying to reach a milestone before the end of the year, so your support would be amazing. Till next time, stay safe.